Welcome to Greater Good Radio Hawaii, where leaders inspire leaders. Greater Good Radio Hawaii is dedicated to social entrepreneurship. I'm your host, Evan Leong, and with me is my co-host, Carrie Leong.
Thank you, Evan. Today's guest is the founder of Leahi Swim School, the largest private swim school in Hawaii. From its inception, the Leahi Swim School has taught over 50,000 children to swim. They currently employ over 55 part-time swim instructors. Our guest founded Leahi Swim School in 1974, which is now teaching children of former students. The school recently launched a new program to teach adults to swim and is currently expanding to the west side of Oahu. She is a board member of the Hawaii Opera Theater and former board member of the Hawaii School for Girls. Our guest is here today to share with us how she built her business, plans for the future, and preparing her son Ben to take over the business. Please welcome to Greater Good Radio, Lori Komer. Welcome to our show, Lori.
Glad to be here.
So you've been in business since 1974. That's the year I was born.
Don't say that.
Why did you start Leahi Swim School?
Well, I was in college at the time, and I was teaching swimming during the summer months for other people, and I was really good at it. And one afternoon, my husband and I were sitting around the breakfast table, and he brought this up to me. He goes, what are you really good at? What do you want to do with your life? Kind of a question. And I said, well, I'm really good at teaching swimming. And he said, well, you're teaching for these other people, and why don't we form our own business and you can teach for yourself? And the rest is history. I actually called I was at La Pietra I went to high school at La Pietra, and I called the headmaster there and I said, can I rent the pool for the summer? And he said, sure. And we started doing.
So you started it in college?
Yes.
Okay.
At that time, how many other swim schools were there?
Well, there was a Y, and there were a few private swim schools. There was Mary Ann Sears, who was kind of a legendary swimmer, and she had a swim program over at the Hilton Hawaiian Village. She was pretty much my competition as far as the private sector.
So two women dominated that space then?
Well, I was just about to. And she was at the point where she was going to retire. I mean, she was, probably in her 60s or early 70s. So I was kind of coming in and filling in a needed.
She wasn't going to turn over her business to someone else or a family member? Or?
She did. Her son was taking it over for a while. But I think that he abandoned the idea and went off to Alaska fishing or something. I don't really know, Basically, I was just trying to get my act together back then.
Did you folks run other businesses before? Your husband said, let's start up and run this business. Did he have experience doing it?
He was, his family business in Los Angeles was a music store. They had 3 music stores. And so ever since he could, add, he was at the cash register and working at the store. So he did know business from the ground up. He was really into business, very successful business. So by the time he was in college, he knew all the business part of it. And I knew the swimming teaching part of the business. And, it was a great partnership.
When you first started, you were doing these lessons one-on-one with the children?
Pretty much, or very small classes.
Okay, and you had
3 or 4 to a class.
And at that point when he said, let's start a business, you already had the vision that you were going to hire and train other individuals to help you teach?
Actually, I didn't start off that way. Basically, I was teaching for other people who would put, 10, 14 kids in my classes. And basically, you're just a lifeguard at that point, and they didn't break the classes up into skill levels, which I thought was crazy. Why didn't they do that? Why am I teaching someone who won't put their face in, and the next child here can swim halfway across the pool? So it was a real challenge. And I thought, when I get my swim school, we're going to divide these kids up and really divide them up into skill levels, where they're really matched up with other kids in the class. So everybody's doing the same thing.
So you were working for other people for how long before you started your own?
4 years, 4 summers. I did have one very mean boss. I don't know if you can call him mean. He was very inconsiderate of his employees. And I felt that if I ever, and I consciously thought this, if I ever have my own swim school, I would never treat my employees like that.
Would they yelled at you or something, or?
Yeah,
or
they scheduled me crazy schedules, and they pull something fast on. His daughter was getting married, and I showed up to teach a swimming lesson, and no one was there, and they said, "Oh, you're supposed to cater the wedding," and this was up in California, so go home and get dressed and go up to the redwoods, and I turned out to be, serving food and clearing plates, and I'm going, I'm a swim teacher, I'm not a waiter. So
Oh my gosh.
that's when I resigned the next day. I went back in, and I resigned the next day. I thought, this is crazy, and this was like the icing on the cake. He did all kind of yelling. He basically abused people and yelled at them for doing in front of other people, would yell at them and say, you're good for nothing, and
that was in California?
Yes, that's how he got his employees to do things for him.
So you started your instruction in California, and then you folks
No, it was
moved?
here.
Okay.
I taught for other people in California, and when I moved here, La Pietra is when I started my own philosophy and my own business, dividing up kids and really making it.
Was it hard in the beginning to manage everything at the same time?
Actually, I did only during the summer months. So I was still going to school. So I was going to school, and during the summer I ran my program. And what was hard was kind of getting the word out about me.
Uh-huh.
And just to get in the community, especially in Hawaii, they want to know who you are before they sign up for lessons. Parents here do their research. They'll ask their friends. Now that I have a website, they'll check out my website. They'll call and talk to us, and find out what we're up to,
Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for more on Greater Good Radio.